All right. Whoa. It says it hears me. I see it on the screen. Now let's take a look here. And I hear myself. Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning to those of you out on the West Coast. We're here to chat another day. I've got a little bit of sampling for you, and whew, I thought giving an extra day would make it so I wouldn't need a vacation for my vacation, but I was wrong. We did a decent job of getting everything ready today, so let's see where we're at. Got some articles I'd set aside earlier to share with you that I lost the window. I found the window. Um, Dan, Omar, and Robert William brought to you a great amount of articles today, so we'll look at them and then we'll do it all again another week. Let's take a look here. Where's chat? They moved chat. There it is. Ha. Andrew says, good evening. Hello. All right, let's get this started here. First up, do a little share screen, and then we'll I have to remember to flip it around. Like that. This. You want to close that? Reacts view. All right, so Tesla has finalized the Cybertruck design, set to enter production in mid 2023, says Musk. We'll see about that. He promises a lot of timelines, and they are aspirational, but that's fine. Let's see here. So what I suspect will happen with this is going to be very much like we saw with the Model X, Model 3, and what else came out? The Model Y, where we see them in their concept form, their prototype form, and then we don't see them again until they're on sale at the party. I think that's what's going to happen here with the Cybertruck. We saw three different versions at Giga Texas grand opening, and we saw two more prototypes at Fremont after the event, and I don't think that we're going to see any more until people are actually taking delivery of them at the next party. But just like Model X, they were hiding the windshield, which they didn't on the prototype that I sat in. I didn't know what was going on because I didn't think to look up that high, because what car has a windshield that high? And then when it started doing its testing at I think it was Alameda, they had a wrap across the top, so it looked like a traditional SUV as far as the windshield was concerned. And then when it came out, it was better than what they showed off. It was not perfect by any means, but it's been getting better year after year, week after week, since they don't wait until the end of the model year to make improvements. And I suspect it'll be the same with Cybertruck. I didn't put my order in until the next morning after the event, so I'm probably pretty far back in line. We'll see what happens with that. Mid 2023 means that it'll be on plan for. I had planned to be done with this Model X as far as financially before the Cybertruck showed up, and then Elon moved up the trim that I had ordered. He said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna move that to the front because that's what we always do." They initially said that the base model would be first, so I was like, "Yeah, I don't want the base. I'll give you time to work it out." But then it was late, and then I think it all worked out pretty well. So mid 2023, that's an Elon time. I think what we're actually going to see is probably around fall or Christmas time. We'll see the party, and we'll see the first 10 to 30 trucks get delivered, probably in Giga Texas, as a Tesla party. But we'll see how that goes. What do y'all think about this? I'm most curious about what they're going to do with the windshield wiper situation, and I'm hoping that what we saw with it having all doors being fully powered and it having the plaid screen in front of you as well as the center screen is the final design. I'm not a fan of the single screen. I know it works, and I know I did it with my Prius, but I like having that screen in front of me. It would be even nicer if it was a heads-up display, but Elon doesn't believe in those, so I really doubt we'll get that. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. All right, let's see what's next. All right, so we still don't have a switch tab button. Thank you, Microsoft. All right, so that one we already talked about, the Texas Long Range Model Y. This one is somewhat interesting to me. Oh, by the way, we're currently pulling in about 100 watts of solar, so this whole stream is coming to you live from the power of the sun. We've got some other panels in on the way, and they were supposed to be here on Wednesday, but I don't like it when people just drop stuff off my door when I'm not there, so I had them held, and we'll see when they actually show up. Let's see. So Tesla's going to partner with PG&E on the VPP program. Why is it running off the screen? I don't know. But that's the virtual power plant program, which allows Tesla to sell your excess battery capacity a as one big virtual power plant with their auto bidder software. And the difference with this one is they're actually going to give you something for this rather than uh, like in Texas, they were offering a $40 Tesla gift card as a token of appreciation. Nah, bro, that's not sufficient for the wear and tear you're going to put on my equipment. Whereas on this new one, they're actually going to pay you. Where did they say it? This I talked about this with Patrick a while ago. So where did they go? Or maybe it was the $40 gift card, which is a lot of power. But here we go. Here it is. This one for PG&E is sufficient. They'll get $2 for every additional kilowatt hour they feed to the grid. This should incentivize Tesla Powerwall owners to participate in the initiative, especially since past VPP programs were typically voluntary with minimal benefits. You get a pat on the back, or you get your $40 gift card. No, thank you. Um, Power companies, they're for-profit companies, most of them, and they can they can buy their own equipment. So if they will subsidize my equipment, they can use it. That's just me. What do y'all think about that? All right, so let's see. We see Anders in the chat. Anybody else in the chat? All right, so we talked about PG&E. We talked about enhanced autopilot coming back. And over on the Tesla Life a little while ago, we talked about Bargersville in Indiana. They bought more Model 3s for their police force. Let's see. What is this one? All right. I think we talked about upgrading Giga Shanghai, so that we'll talk more about that when we know. And I completely forgot to tell you guys about the July 4th um, free charging locations. Assuming I didn't pull it up from another article because it's still sitting there in this window. Giga Berlin adding an extra shift. Autopilot layoffs. Lauren Boebert getting schooled about how power is generated. I know we talked about that one. Dan with the 620-mile range uh, cattle battery. We'll see if that actually happens and what vehicle they put it in, because it could only be the Model S or the Lucid, unless somebody's bringing out a completely brand new, ultra efficient vehicle. Uh, Biden administration detailed 700 million investments to boost EV charging infrastructure. I think we talked about that. This one I don't think. So let's pop it up on the screen. This is something I did a couple times with the hybrids. I would actually they were unsold cars, so we wouldn't let them cut on them. But we would train the firemen in finding the emergency disconnects. We train them in. Let me pause this. We train them in finding the emergency disconnects. We tell them how to do the cut loops, show them where the battery is, and then let them know what the manufacturer firefighter procedures were. and I liked doing that. And so here in Grand Rapids, local firefighters are training for the dangers posed by electric vehicles, and they're minimal compared to what you'd find on a regular car. The only difference is uh, only real difference is now you have a risk of electrocution in addition to um, whatever's going on with the fire. Plus, if it's a lithium battery, the fire will be tougher to put out. But there's a lot less risk of explosion because there's a lot less just fossil combustibles in an electric car. You'd still have lubricants, but not at all like the oil and gasoline and such you would find in a regular car. So I thought that was pretty cool. Talk about how many gallons of water it takes to put out. So basically, for most manufacturers, they say that you're just going to uh, keep putting water on the battery until the temperature comes down to the point where it can't cause a thermal runaway, which is where uh, one battery being too hot causes the next battery to be too hot, and then they all kind of catch fire together in a chain. Whereas if they're too cold to self ignite, then it's pretty much safe to handle. It might not be safe to drive, but it'll be safe for the first responders and for the crash occupants and bystanders. So there was that one. I touched on this, but I don't know that we actually had a discussion on it on the show. Ford has copied, and I think VW now too, has copied Tesla's Model 3, Model Y leasing program situation. You cannot buy the Model 3 and Model Y at the end of your lease. And now, for fresh leases of the Model S and Model X, you can't buy them out either. Well, Ford has decided for the Lightning, Mustang Mach-E, and the E-Transit, you can't buy them at the end of your lease either. So now you have to turn them back into the dealer. And wow, the reason that Ford is doing this is because with the current used car situation, they see money, they're seeing dollar signs like a cartoon. They What was that? They're seeing that their residuals are not matching what they're estimating, and they see that there's a lot of profit to be had to do it this way. So let's see what we've got here. Word came the dealers will be able to insert language into sales contracts for Lightning, prohibiting buyers from selling the pickup 1 year after purchase. We knew about that. Um, they won't need to do this, but they could. On the leasing side, Cars Direct found a letter Ford sent to dealers eliminating the end of lease purchase option for Lightning, Mustang, Mach-E, and E-Transit van. In the plainest language possible, Ford's new prohibition says you do not have the option to purchase highlighter. Come on, you do not have the option to purchase this vehicle at the end of lease term. Doesn't get any clearer than that. This change took effect on June 15th in 37 states and will be enacted in the remaining 14 states and DC by the last quarter of this year. Wow. That was always one of my selling points when I was selling cars is on a lease you have multiple options, except in the case of the Lightning, Ford Electrics, and the Teslas. You could turn the car in. That was my favorite feature. If you like to get new technology all the time, or if you're buying a car that's new tech, like a hybrid or EV, and you know something new is coming out, you just turn it in, wash your hands of it, and go get something else. Uh, the other option was you could extend your lease. That's fine. Or you could trade it in. And this is the option you no longer have for, well, actually, for Tesla, you can't trade it in anymore either. For um, the other option was you could buy it out. You can't buy that anymore. So I don't know. I don't know if Ford considers trading it in to be a purchase. If they do, and it's not to a Ford dealer, then they're going to say no, you cannot. Whereas with the Tesla, the only people you can trade with now are Tesla themselves. They make sure to update all the new contracts for that as well. Let's see here. Call it cynical, but it seems like the rationale is conjured to mask the real rationale when leasing change inevitably went public. Ford isn't the only manufacturer to restrict leasing options. Last year, GM and Honda began mandating that if lessees wanted to sell their vehicles, they had to sell them back to the automaker at the price in the lease contract. Oh, how did this get onto the news? I didn't realize that. And this year, Tesla killed its bad option in April. Yeah, we knew about that. We talked about it here. The only green justifications those automakers provided had to do with the greenbacks and the Excel spreadsheet logo for the software the CFOs use to keep track of said greenbacks. Oh, I like it. Let's see. Next up, we've got those don't matter. That doesn't matter. This one came from either Georgia or Russell Frost, and I thought it was true. A little too true. A little bit like something you don't usually see from a politician. Well, it could have been from Patrick as well. I could go back and find out, but I won't. The U.S. Energy Secretary says switch to wind and solar could be the greatest peace plan of all. And she's talking about how we did all of these. I think it was Patrick at this point. We did all these wars for oil and wars adjacent to oil. And she says you don't go to war over wind or a patch of sunshine. And, and she's right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to paste this article in the chat so you guys can read it in full later. And I mean, it's all. Is it going? It's not going. It's all true. We would be most of the conflicts if it weren't for uh, the magic dinosaur juice in the ground. All right, so close that one. What's this? One's coming from Dan. It's kind of a forum post, it looks like, but doesn't mean it's not true. All right, so he's over at where was he at? He's at the VW Vortex Volkswagen Enthusiast website, and they're asking, is Carmageddon beginning? Rivian and Tesla both announced layoffs, uh, and they have a poll to see who agrees. I I think that the layoffs are more related to the economy than people not being able to or wanting to buy cars. I think it's a matter of they want their stock to look good. They want to be prepared if something happens to the economy. Inflation is through the roof, and the stock market loves it when you fire people. So it's another good way to get a quick little bump. And the car prices are starting to return to normal for used cars. Gas prices are starting to return to normal. I don't know that they'll ever be truly back where they were, but I feel they could be closer. And let's see what these people say as well. No, Carmageddon, Rivian, and Tesla are both tech companies, not automakers. True. Um, Carmageddon plus recession plus asset burst plus high stagflation. Maybe I think with that is what they're afraid of, and that's why they're doing it. But I don't know if that's actually going to happen right now. Again, this is not a financial advice show. I'm not an analyst, whatever. But it's it doesn't look like it's as dire as all of these talking heads are saying. I mean, it's not going to be comfortable, but the sky is not falling in regards to the finances. There are much worse things happening around on their own, but it's not coming from the finances. This is another good point. I don't see GM, Toyota, Ford, Hyundai, Nissan, or Honda laying off. Correct. Uh, the it's a little bit weird, but that one there is referring to the farmers who don't know what Rivian is, that know they don't like it, and know they don't want the plant in their town, which is just asinine. It's you're complaining about not having enough jobs. These people are building a factory in your town to build expensive products, and you don't want your people to have access to these jobs. Uh, who's going to build my Rivian? I'm going to pass it back. No need to panic. This is yet another useless trolling thread by Uber. Um, I don't know what Uber has to do with any of this. Uber's just as played about with it as the rest of the market. Because if you don't have anywhere to go, then Uber has nothing to do for you. They deliver food and people. So if there's no need to do that or there's no money to do that, then they don't stand a chance. Let's see. Restructuring and layoffs are not the same thing. This is also true. It's also true. Uh, Moving on. Let's go to our notebook. I say let's go to our notebook. Let me check something real quick. Make sure I don't have any more hidden windows just hanging about. Password manager. Right, we do, but we don't need it to open. Movies. Me. The article you guys are looking at. Messages. YouTube. Two windows that don't say what they are. Let's take a look and see what they are. News, but not. Well, this one is kind of EV news. Let's look at this. Then we'll go to the notes, I think. Sorry, I am actually scanning these headlines to see if I saved any. I did not. Also didn't plug in my mouse or my keyboard. I had planned to do that before I went to bed, and I did not. Not that they need it right now, but I guess we'll do it after the show and let them charge via the sun. A solar-powered mouse, a solar-powered keyboard. um, I got some clouds. We're only in just 57 watts right now, so only the computer is covered. Once that gets up, we'll get the lights on the screen again. All right, so AutoWeek is asking how much do EV batteries cost? And let's see what angle they take on this. A lot of really good articles and a lot of just fear mongering. So let's see what they do. Over time, the packs will lose some of the initial magic. This is true. The good news is most manufacturers provide long warranties. Yes, my car is out of warranty, but my battery and both motors are still fully under warranty for another 4 years, 3 years. It's 8 years, unlimited miles on the old Model S and Model X, and now they are just like the Model 3 and just 8 years and 100,000 miles. So 150,000 miles. The point of the matter is, Sandy and crew at Monroe and Associates, they've been trying to take apart a Model Y structural pack, and it's taken them longer than they expected. And you can tell that these are items that are just really meant to be put in the car, and if they don't work, just recycle them. And when the car's end of life, recycle the whole thing, just chuck it in the shredder and pull out the minerals at the end. Uh, I don't think you would do something like that if you didn't feel that the battery was reliable. So to me, that tells me that Tesla feels that whatever's going on with the 4680 structural pack, they feel is reliable. So I'm not afraid of that or the one that's going to be in my Cybertruck. Plus, I've got a lot of other devices. I've got this battery pack I've been hanging on to. This Mophie pack is over 10 years old, and the cells are good. Every now and then the charge controller goes a little wonky, but it's still doing its job. So as you can tell from the connections, it's not exactly uh, the best thing to be using anymore. We've got a lot of much better power banks now, but I do like to keep that one around because it still works. So what I'll often do is rather than actually charge a phone or device with it, what I'll do is I'll directly boost another battery with it because they don't care about being slow charged. Right, this window is in my way. There we go. And let's see, where were we? Price parity. We're already there on price parity with some of the EVs out there today between the Kias and Hyundais and Teslas, especially helped with the lack of new and used cars. They that happened a lot sooner than I had anticipated. I was thinking maybe sometime next year. All right, so let's see. Yep. Electric car batteries are super high still. Battery replacements in 2016 would have been about 10 grand or more. And don't forget, in 2016 we had much smaller batteries, and then we remembered that customer of the electrified garage, they got quoted $20,000 for a new Model 3 pack. The prices are coming down. I remember when I got my Prius, I went ahead and got a quote for the battery, and I was quoted $5,000. And now you can get a Prius pack rebuilt, replaced for $100 delivered and installed. So uh, that's from '04 to 2022, I know, but we're looking at something similar with the EV packs as well. Right now, the monkey wrench in the gears is that we don't have as many companies out there sourcing the raw materials in a way that America likes to. I say America, the Western world likes to pay like next to nothing, and getting it for super cheap. So that puts us in contention with being able to have the kind of access to them that we want. But we do have places like Canada that have everything you need to make a battery, and the problem is you got to pay them a Western wage and then ship it. So, oh, and then you also have to have somebody build it. Like, so after you've got the raw materials, you need to refine them. Then you need to get them into a pack. Then you need to, well, cells, then into a pack, and then you need to ship it, get it into a car. All that adds cost because paying a Western wage is not cheap. But you've got some folks like my uncles. They buy American everything for their businesses, and it does cost a little more in a lot of cases, but you get the quality, and you also get the feel goods of knowing that, hey, this is all not just sustainably produced, but also uh, everybody who touched it, they're able to eat and sleep at night and not have to worry about what's coming up next. All right, so then solid state batteries might be a thing. Toyota seems to think that they're there. We'll see when they actually put it on the market. But based on the last couple of articles, it doesn't sound like it's 10 years away anymore, but prove it. Let's see them out there in the real world. Charging costs are next to nothing. Sorry. How much does it cost to charge an electric car? Next to nothing. Uh, $30 a month for my beast out there. So a lot of stuff doesn't even classify. It should be next to nothing. It should be a solid state part. Um, there could be some coolant changes. There could be a filter to change, but not really. Performance, tax incentive. What does any of this have to do with the cost of the battery? All right, so we discussed the cost of the battery. Let's take a look at this. All right, GMC Hummer EV produces more CO2 than some gas-powered vehicles, according to a study. So let's break this down. It could be a case of, oh, the Hummer is cleaner than the Prius, which it's not. So let's see if this is that, or if this is just because, remember, the Hummer has a battery pack twice the weight of everybody else's. In fact, their battery weighs more than some whole EVs, some whole gas cars. And then on top of that, it's a Hummer, so its frame, its body is also going to be oversized and chunkified as well. So let's see. We might not like totally try and debunk it, but we'll just see if they're on the right track here or not. Let's go. A new report shows a Hummer EV produces more CO2 per mile driven than some gas-powered vehicles. Let's copy that link. That doesn't look like it's the article. It looks like it's a. Let's see what this comes out to be. I don't know why it's not showing a preview of the link, so I've copied it. And okay, so that one was actually a nice article. We'll look at that next, but it's not the report. According to the American Council for an Energy Efficient Economy research, the Hummer EV is not as eco-friendly as you might think for an EV. The over 9,000-pound EV produces 341 grams per CO2 mile per driven of CO2 per mile driven, and that compares to a gas-powered Chevy Malibu, which emits around 320 grams of CO2. Oh my goodness. Although the Hummer EV does not give off emissions, the CO2 numbers come from the average US power grid consumption. So there we go. There's a point of contention right there. If you do fill your Hummer EV with sunshine from your roof, this number will be lower. Non-efficient vehicle, yeah, it's a Hummer. Keep it on brand with that. And combined with the inefficient US power grid is not a recipe for success. Could be. I mean, you could be running off of Niagara Falls. You could be running off of the Hoover Dam. You could make your own power at home. I forgot to do my pills this morning. Stand by before I forget we have an episode. You can tell this is a live show. No. I reached that. Well said. So, it all depends on where you get your power from. A lot of this hinging on that. Research shows that most EVs have a much smaller carbon footprint than gas vehicles. Yeah, we keep saying about how long it would take for most EVs that are not Hummers to catch up to and surpass their fossil counterparts. So, like a Model 3, Model S, Volkswagen ID4, all of them, it will catch up to and surpass their fossil counterparts within the first two oil changes uh, here in the U.S. and Canada. So let's see what they go next with that. The Chevy Bolt is responsible for just 92 grams of CO2 per mile driven. I'm also wondering how long they consider these cars to be in service, because the longer they're in service, and if you're filling them with solar, that number should drop to not zero, but it should drop to really, really low. Let's see if anybody commented on this thing. Nope. All right, so let's go and find the study. All right. And we'll paste this in the same window you guys are looking at right now. So we're going to pick at this. Electric vehicles and no gasoline. Impact isn't just about electric generated, it's a power line each mile. See, the other part of the problem with this is when you're comparing the power companies' emissions versus the direct emissions of the gas vehicle, you're not comparing the same thing. Because if you're doing that, you still need to keep the power company in there. Then you need to do the truck that brought it there, the gas station, the refinery. We were just driving back through New Jersey day before yesterday, and in addition to the smell of the refineries and the haze from whatever they're doing for their smokestacks, we saw one of them was just flaring. They were flaring methane, which is natural gas, rather than bottling it up and putting it down the pipes for people's ovens and furnaces or whatever. They were flaring it. So literally just raw flame with no filter, no nothing, just in the atmospheres, however many dozens of feet in the air. And that's not included in the study, or not, maybe not this study, but in most studies where they talk about uh, the power company's consumption for an EV and and what's coming out of the tailpipe of a fossil. And this one probably falls for that same mistake. Battery packs, increased battery size, human abuses on cobalt again. That's where I was talking about making sure that your minerals are ethically sourced. And then you've got the case like manufacturers such as Tesla are minimizing their cobalt use, and others like Apple are making sure that well, Tesla does this too, but they use less of it. Making sure that they know where all their minerals come from, and that they don't come from conflict sources like Congo. So I am already seeing that this piece, I don't know about the study, but this piece, the article they wrote on it is it's got some flaws to it. Must miss EV efficiency, yeah, but I mean, I don't know that regulators need to do that. It's kind of like gas cars. If you give people a choice, like I mean, obviously they need to set a minimum, like a floor, but they don't need to say, hey, here's the top because you've got some people who will buy the Prius, and you've got other people who will buy whatever's cheapest. So you need to make sure that whatever that there's a floor, but you don't need to say you can't. You have to, everybody has to be this high because you've got those folks that care about emissions, like us, and then you've got the folks that would like to save the money by not burning it all. But then you've also got folks that want to buy the Hummer. At least this Hummer is better than the real one, like the real one, the gas one, the old one, I should say. There we go. Let's go a little further. Efficiency versus weight. That's just like gas cars. The lighter they are, the more efficient they are in general. All right, I'm annoyed at this. We see it's flawed. Let's go back to the other article. Uh, and and just compare all the EVs against each other because we get mad if I keep going. All right, so this is a July article from Drive Tesla, and they have an update. Let's just their update. This is from Bloomberg. Looks like Bloomberg has updated their rankings. The Lucid Air is now the greenest EV, and the Model 3 long range is second. It's unclear what changed with the Model 3, but its score dropped from 74.2 down to 66.7, while the Air jumped from 70.5 to 71.1, seemingly due to a change in the range from 451 miles to 520 miles last year. No, it's this year. Um, Model S took third at update. It's still third, but with a score of 68.2. So that didn't change. So the Model S didn't change in their rankings. The Model Y long range ranked fifth with 65.5. Still fifth, but now 61.2. Model X Plaid 57.3, down to from ninth to 10th at 51.9. Unsurprisingly, the Hummer with a curved weight of over 9,000 pounds, nearly twice that of Model Y, came in last with a green score of just 30.5 and is now down to 27.4. There we go. Interesting. So you get your green rating, your range, battery size in kilowatt hours, charging speed in miles a minute. I don't think that really matters. I mean, it does, but I don't think that matters in determining how green it is. And then you got their base prices, which definitely don't matter in how green they are. I don't know. What do you all think about these? Lee says, Happy Sunday! Happy Sunday, Lee! And Anders says, Is it too good weather in the US or does everyone have a vacation? Um, I'm being handed a chime. Well, this is not the chime, this is the straps. Uh, the weather is pretty decent. I had a situation where let me not catch the headphone in this. Um, a bunch of the family was going to be in one place at one time, and none of them had met Motoko yet. So we took her to meet her cousins and her great grandma and her granduncle and her other granduncle, and this is the right way up. Yep. Some vacation days to burn for the end of a contract at work. So it was a perfect storm type of situation. Plus, when I asked for the time off, they said, "Yeah, you can take it." So I did. Hello, Motoko. Do you have a napkin, baby? You want to say hello to everybody today? You can say hi. You're saying hi all morning. Hi. No. Okay. All right. Let's take a nap, huh? You nap. I talk. Oh, really? Uh-uh. You gonna say milk today? Do you want milk? I'm not convinced. I also know you're not hungry because you just ate 15 minutes ago. Milk? Okay, milk, milk, milk. Moving on. Uh-oh. Don't be so quick. Here, breathe. Okay, here. What? Mm. Eddie says the USA doesn't do vacations like Europe. I wish we did, man. I wish we did. 1 to 3 months of just sabbatical. This is all the milk I have. I can't make more. Calm down. Take it in. Okay. Yeah, we don't do vacations the way that you guys do. I wish we did. Andrew says hi, Moto. Hello, Motoko. Huh? Okay. I think she says hi too. Oh, there's a bar here. I don't know what this bar means. Maybe a comment was deleted? Let's move on to the next thing. Now that we've discovered comparatively how clean the Hummer is versus the others. I don't know what you want, baby. You've got that bottle? You're sleepy? Yes. You want me to rock? I can rock. No, you don't want me to rock? Stop rocking? Okay. Okay. Uh-oh, I've got conflicting changes on my notes. It means either one of the co-hosts has added something or my phone finally added something back in as well. Andrew says dinner time cry. Yes. Yes, indeed. Yeah. You want to burp? Let's burp. Well, you burp. If I burp, it'd be rude. I won't burp on the air. Yeah. You and me, we'd have a burping contest. Yeah, baby. No, you like that? Okay. We'll worry about the conflicting changes in the document later because I've still got plenty of articles to discuss right now. So the Subaru Solterra, which I think is the slightly better looking Toyota BZ4X, is doing something. Doing what? Oh, well, milk. Yes. Do you want different milk or something? I don't know. What's wrong with this milk? It's the same milk you get all the time. That's good. All right. So this isn't them at all. This is Soltrack. I had another article about the Solterra, and my note font is tiny. I need to fix that. They're ramping up production to meet growing demand for electric tractors. As I keep saying, electrify all the things, and this will do that. They're partnering with Nolan Manufacturing to meet their increasing demand, and this partnership includes a 10,000 square foot facility in North Carolina. So, like I keep saying as well, hey, buy local, right? These are American-made electric tractors. Boom, baby. And I guess Soul could be solar. Uh, Maybe not solar direct, but definitely could be solar powered elsewhere. Um, they currently sell electric tractors. The most recent being the E70N, which was introduced in August. As demand for sustainable zero-emission farming equipment continues to grow, Soltech is growing with it. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to say that their wine or their cereal or whatever was zero emissions. We've already seen time and time again wineries around the country, around the world, are equipping themselves for solar. Same for breweries; they're equipping themselves for solar, and they're not necessarily doing it for the CO2. They're doing it for energy bills, but that's another good benefit. Or if they do it for the other, then they can justify it, saying their electric bills will be lower. So they currently have 50 East Coast dealers from Maryland to Georgia, with 4 in North Carolina alone. We've asked how manufacturing will increase its annual tractor production numbers, but we've yet to hear back. Oh well, good enough. Keep it going. What do you guys have to say? This one I didn't read. I saw the headline, said let me read that, and then we were driving. So I've I've read way less of these than I typically do. Fire force disclosure of Tesla repair center in China, uh, following a fire that caused extensive damage and destroyed a number of vehicles. The cause of the fire has not been determined and is still under investigation. On July 8th in Suzhou, west of Shanghai, and was referred to in China as a sheet metal spraying center. Interesting. As many as 100 cars were destroyed in the fire, but later reports, including one by Glow Paper, said only 4 vehicles were damaged. There's another user on China's social media Weibo that said the Suzhou location was being used as a delivery center since the end of last year, although Tesla has not confirmed this. Pictures from inside the building show the extent of the damage, with some Model 3 and Model Y cars completely destroyed, while others appear to be untouched. All right, so I count 2 that we can see, 3. It's possible there are only 4, but that looks like a pretty hot fire. I'm curious to know more about it. I don't think we will find out. Oh, that's cool. They have a firefighting robot. Look at this. Do you want it or not? You do. Okay. Let's see. Tesla hasn't said anything, but customer service rep confirmed the center has been closed. Yeah, I wonder. Are you guys open today? No, look at this picture. Tell me what you think. Just playing with that nipple. Do you want this pacifier? I know you don't like pacifiers, but you want to try it? Okay. Here. Just gonna spit it on the floor. Go. You tricked me. It's a fake nipple. So she grabbed it. She gets mad at it because it's empty. Oh, don't choke on it. She just left it in the towel. So we won't be doing that today. Let's burp again. So let's see. Shanghai is recovering from a 3-week shutdown. We knew that. And we will find out more about this facility as they bring it to us, and we will let you guys know as soon as we do. Well, the next Sunday after we find out. This one was a little weird to me. Pedestrians attack Waymo's self-driving cars in Arizona and California. 2 I-Pace EVs from Waymo's fleet were vandalized in 2 separate incidents in Tempe and San Francisco last week. One of them, the safety driver was injured and went to the hospital. The what did I say? The headline used to say something different. No, the headline didn't. The tweet quote said, um, "A new Waymo Jaguar was in a single vehicle accident tonight." Don't go to the tweet. I'm busy. Uh, was in a single vehicle accident tonight. First responders confirmed it did not strike another vehicle. At least one person was transported as I arrived. Windshield is completely destroyed. Well lit area. So my comment when I put this in the notebook, this is no accident, and the tweet is unlike what the tweet is stating. For one, most accidents are crashes, and two, this was an attack. There's nothing accidental about a mob rush on a human or a robot. Or in this case, the human inside the robot. So to call this an accident, Mr. Hill, is doing a disservice as a reporter. Do better. Do better. And so there's footage of the mobs doing stuff to the car. I'm not going to play that here. You want it? You don't want it? You play with it? What? Should I get you an empty bottle? You can play with that? Oh, you don't like that sound, do you? Enjoy. She's like massaging me. It's weird. Let's see what the comments are on this thing, and let's see what you guys have to say. Uh, it's kind of like a Luddite revolt, I guess, but still, you don't need to be attacked. Yep, there's Bill Johnson. Luddites per se. Um, so this is not a Rage Against the Machine per se. No skateboarders, skateboarder Luddites, perhaps, but would not be the first people on roller skates, though they could be neo-Luddites. But if a turf war thrown in, as others have pointed out, it's a bad call to invade that space at that time. It's all relative. Still, violence like this is not the answer to whatever your situation is. A Rage Against Machines, especially cars, but not a rock band. The male of the species has serious issues. Three is insecurity, ignorance, and immaturity. Yes, it's not just us males, but we seem to have a large problem with that in addition to impulsivity. let's, let's go on. Seems like features all autonomous cars will need to incorporate in the future. They'll need to have mapped daily locations, especially sanctioned and unsanctioned events with a lot of people, so those areas can be avoided if other routes are available. I don't know that would work because if you're picking people up from an event, you need to go to the event. And if this is a case of the street was shut for a skateboard event, then the safety driver should have not driven through it. And if he's a delivery driver, then he should be on a delivery route, not on this. Yeah, that's true for most events, and the streets are closed anyway. For instance, the running of the bulls, the big tomato toss, or whatever. I think skateboarders are naturally inclined to be anti-car anyway. Yes, this is true, especially when a mob of them are gathered. It's the entity of the mob itself which leads towards violence. Possibly, but I don't know. What do you guys think about this? DeWitt says he's got a picture of his daughter on one of those tractors. Awesome. And was that an attack or clowning around? The guy went to the hospital, Eddie. I would say that even if they thought they were being playful, they took it too far. And there's no way they thought they were playful if they were damaging the property. It's a Jaguar. It's expensive. If it was my private vehicle, ooh, that would be a whole other situation than a corporate vehicle. That's for sure. All right, so let's move on to the next one. All right, so this one is in a private group, so I got to extract the article. Let me copy this. It's coming from the Not a Tesla app, and the comment is, I wonder what models and years will support the new higher charging speeds. In addition to increased charging speeds, the V4 supercharger, V3 superchargers are expected to support 35% faster charging later this year, while V3 superchargers are expected to support charging speeds of 324 kilowatts V1 and V2 will maintain their charging speeds up to 150 shared with the adjacent stall. It's not always adjacent, but shared with the same stall on their circuits. So let's see where this goes. Tesla app. All right, so over the first supercharger in 2012 was capable of charging speeds up to 150. That's not exactly accurate. The first superchargers were capable of up to 90 kilowatts, and they've been updated since then. The Gen 1s can do up to 135 after their update, and the Gen 2s can do up to 150 after their latest update. And now the V3s, they launched at 250, but they will be getting an upgrade to charge 35% faster to 324 kilowatts. I'm curious if the original Model 3, since that was the first car to be able to do the 1,000 mile per hour charge, if they will be the ones able to also do this, or if they need newer vehicles like like the structural pack and the plaid and those sorts of things. I'm curious. We'll find out shortly. Sawyer also says Tesla will release V4 superchargers soon after increasing the speed of the V3 chargers. It's not clear what benefits V4 chargers may have, but we'll likely see a speed boost with V4 chargers as well. It'll be interesting to see whether Tesla supports CCS ports directly with their new superchargers. Tesla started allowing non-Tesla vehicles to use some superchargers in Europe. We've talked extensively about those. If testing goes well, Tesla's planning to expand to non-Tesla charging in other markets as well. Cool stuff. I still think they need to be really careful because California will be loads of fun for them if they do this wrong. I'm loading up some of the next articles from the private group. The one was from Dan, and it was about Rivian reportedly considering laying off 700 employees. So we talked about that. This one's also from Dan, and we touched on it last week about how Andre Carpathy is leaving the company. We'll see what happens. But we've also seen that in the couple months that he's been on sabbatical, the autopilot has been doing just fine and improving. He's been continuing to study, so whatever he's doing, we know it's going to be in machine learning and AI. So I wish him well. We wish him well, and hopefully this doesn't cause any sort of stuttering or stalling of the Tesla autopilot program. Okay. Um, Copy a link to this one. This one, I don't know how I feel about it. I like Aptera. I don't know that this will go anywhere. Um, Aptera asked Congress to make Tesla's plug-in superchargers the standard for EVs in the U.S. It's a great plug. It might be too late. At the same time, I don't want them to force Tesla to change either, but I do think that Tesla uh, should make an adapter sooner than later for the U.S. market, North American market. So Aptera wants launched a petition to make Congress make Tesla superchargers and its plug the standard for electric vehicles in the U.S. When Tesla started making electric vehicles, there was no dominant charging standard. We know about this. There's no dominant DC or AC standard. It looked like the industry was just waiting to see if Tesla would go out of business before they came up with J1772. The protocol had been around since the original modern EVs in the late 90s, and we had different connectors back then. We had Avcon and we had MagnaCharge, and eventually they just settled on that round one that we have today. And even the AC Tesla charging uses J1772 protocols, and they just use their Tesla 2 connector, and you have an adapter to convert it to J1772 um, if you're at a public station. And then for CCS, the industry just glommed on to high voltage DC lugs, and Tesla was already using their connector to do that. Let me get a link to this thing if you want it. So we've talked about Aptera. They're making the three-wheeled electric vehicle. I've got a reservation in on it. Um, Size and not to scale. It's actually closer to that size. It's still smaller, but it's closer to that size. Are you done? You're asleep. Look at your chin. There. So here's a link to the petition. I think. Yep. Making sure it wasn't a link to the article about it. So if you're interested in having Congress be interested in pushing the Tesla plug on everybody, there it is. I still don't know. Electric thinks it's a lost cause, and I kind of I don't see it going forward. But if enough people sign it, then maybe. Also, a note is that the money that change.org requests doesn't necessarily go to the cause that you are filling in. They go into a general fund. So if you give any money to change.org, know that. Um, well, Tesla's not even going for that right now. Um, Good point. Let's see what the other people say about this. Tesla plug is much more user friendly. Yes, it is. As much as I'd like this to happen, it's highly unlikely. Plug is a plug. What makes one more user friendly than the other? It's smaller. It's lighter, buddy. Are you befuddled by the additional cap on the DC pins? Yeah, and you don't need additional cap on the DC pins. So they're right there. Yeah, like you said. Uh, if you can cut it off, it's too much to worry about it. What about drawing AC from your car's battery if you need it, the way it works for CCS? What? Is he talking about vehicle to grid? I think so. I don't know what he means by drawing AC from your car. Because most CCS plugs don't have the AC pins attached. They just have the signal pins and sense pins attached. Like literally, um, a bunch of these pins are missing. So you have these, and then I think two or three are still in there. But like the Ford Lightning, for instance, it uses a CCS plug for its home connection, even though it's charging AC, because uh, I'm not sure if it takes AC back out of the truck when it's in island mode, or if it takes DC out and then has its own off-board inverter. Dude says Tesla plug for all. It certainly would have made things easier to explain for some folks. Okay, let's go back. CCS needs two hands most of the time. I wouldn't say that. Um, if so, CCS is violating the ADA, which is very serious. People got sued for not accommodating handicaps in the parking and restrooms. How about CCS? Two hands required to use? I think some attorney can make a fortune by filing a lawsuit if the government decides to use it. I don't. Uh, it's easier to do with two hands, but I don't think it requires two hands. It's smaller than CHAdeMO, and CHAdeMO, if you're not using a Tesla adapter, CHAdeMO doesn't take two hands. You can still work the Tesla CHAdeMO adapter with one hand, but it's a awkward mess. You gotta like pin it against your body, and then it's CHAdeMO is a pain to use. Correct. We should have members of Congress try out using CCS and Tesla and make their decision would be standard. Yeah, that would be one good way to do it. Or better still, leave the government out of setting the standards. Two options is a very good thing. Yeah, yeah. I mean, at least we're not at three. I mean, CHAdeMO's gone basically in the U.S. So we've got all these folks. We've got to. Anybody else have anything to say on the matter? What's this? So while we're talking about getting the government involved in charging, let's look at some more government involved charging. Uh, I think this is using some of the money, if I'm not mistaken, from what I read the first time. GM announces a new nationwide DC fast charging network with Pilot Go and EVgo. So maybe it's not. Uh, Maybe it was the joke about government motors, huh? uh, GM has announced a collaboration with Pilot, the truck stop company, to implement coast-to-coast DC fast charging network co-branded by both Pilot Flying J and Ultium 360 logos. The new charging network will be powered by EVgo's Extend charging services for businesses. This will be great for the Bright Drop because it's an Ultium. It's the Ultium, the first Ultium um, vehicle, and the Hummer is basically just a bigger version of that van as far as the electronics are concerned. CCS is pretty much my world now. Yeah, exactly. Uh, GM established its EV charging presence in 2020, along with agreement with EVgo to deploy over 3,200 chargers across the country by 2025. A year later, EVgo joined GM's Ultium Charge 360 program, which combines several networks into one holistic system. That's nice. It's always nice not to have more than one card or have to deal with cards at all. Although GM requires that you be subscribed to OnStar to have plug-in charge. And since they're part of this network, they don't need to do that. They know this. It was extended to GM's commercial fleet customers last summer as well, and has continued to grow its relationship with EVgo by announcing the addition of plug-in charge capabilities to its newer EVs using the charging network and OnStar. I think the OnStar is just literally just because they can. In addition to Ultium Charge 360, they're now launching a coast-to-coast DC fast charging network in the United States with hundreds of pilots of Flying J, along with some more help from EVgo. Yeah, so you can physically cross the country. It's not anywhere near as robust as the supercharger network, but we're getting there. And this is just one brand. This is GM, Pilot, and Flying J, and EVgo. So you can find more EVgo's, and you can find more competing folks elsewhere. But there are some gaps here for just this one partnership. The 2,000 EV charging stalls at 500 locations. So let's see. Good. There's gonna be 4 stalls at every gas station, which is on average, which is better than 2, but you need more than that. Uh, will help enable coast-to-coast travel and connect communities across America. Initial phase 1 charging stalls shown in reference map expected to be operational in 2023. Okay, so this isn't bad. This will all be ready by next year, and then hopefully they will fill in some of the gaps next year after that. Chargers will be capable of delivering up to 350 kilowatts. Yeah, maybe. I don't like the way they got that asterisk. I can't read what it says down below because this is so blurry. But that Weasley up to, they could install a bunch of 100 kilowatt stations if they wanted to, and if there's one or two 350, it's up to 350. Hopefully, it's just like say something like, hey, they do charge sharing, and if somebody's pulled up using station 1, then station 4 won't give you 350. I don't know what they're saying down here. You know what? I can find out. So I was like, "Who is Pilot?" But when I saw Pilot Flying J, I knew exactly who they were. Yeah, they have a lot of rest stops and truck stops. What I want to do next is see if I can't. Oh, it's built right into my browser now. I was looking to see if somebody else had this photo and no results returned because I wanted to see what the asterisk said. Moving on. That's the same article. Okay, let's go to the next one. We've got this one's going from Tesserati. It's about SpaceX wants to attempt to catch Starship booster, or wants to attempt Starship booster catch during first orbital launch. So out of Texas, they're getting ready to launch from Boca Chica their first orbital test. The vehicle will launch with a full Starship Super Heavy stack. So you'll have a Starship on top, and you'll have a booster, a Super Heavy booster underneath it. And initially, this thing was supposed to go around the world and land in the sea outside of Hawaii, the ocean outside of Hawaii. And the booster was supposed to launch the whole package up and come down in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, what's been happening is that sorry, SpaceX has updated their plans, their requests. They want to have two options with the booster now. So this is the booster here, the top part, and the ship is up here. And the ship goes on top of the booster. They all go into space. But when this one finishes its job, it comes back. And originally, it was going to crash into or land and then fall over in the Gulf of Mexico. Now they want to try and catch it with the launch tower back at Boca Chica. So they've continued to leave the verbiage about landing in the Gulf of Mexico, but they added verbiage about catching it with the tower. So I imagine this is going to be like the drone ships, where the drone ships, the booster doesn't actually aim for the drone ship. It actually aims for a spot near the drone ship, and if it fails checks, it will just fall in the drink. If it passes, then it will re-navigate itself back to the bullseye on the drone ship. So we'll see what they do with this. All right, let's see. So this is talking about the updated document. Here's the updated SEC filings. Let's see. This launch tower at Starbase will help stack Starship and catch the super heavy rocket booster. Let's see what this video is. So this is it stacking the Starship on top of the hyperspeed, stacking the Starship on top of the booster. And that other arm is what gives it the ground support for the ship, like oxygen, methane, nitrogen, etc. Whereas the booster gets it directly from the pad it's sitting on. Cool stuff. And this is from Elon right here. It was a video of what it might look like. So here's the ship. Sorry, not the ship. The booster returning. And then it hovers for a bit inside the arms, and the arms just close around it and catch a hard point. The article described it as a point the size of a coffee table. There you go. So we'll see what happens with this. I'm excited. I wish I could go to Texas to watch that, but I, it's a lot easier for me to get to Florida. So whenever they do that, I'll be there. All right, so then we've got a couple of articles from Robert William. Let's cue these up. There. Misty Boogie says kapow. Oh, did that wrong. I didn't want to link to the paragraph. I wanted to link to the article. There we go. So the modular X Bus is what electric compact camper dreams are made of. If you're looking for a cute electric truck that can double as a camper, here you go. I saw this in a brief blurb on uh, another YouTube video. I don't know what it was about. I don't know if it was about campers or if it was about sustainability or what, but they were cute and it had some more photos of them. So I wanted to share. So the whole concept is this is the cab, and then this module in the back can be swapped out for other modules. You get a pickup truck, a dump truck, a camper, and so forth. Okay, so it's got a pop up. I like that, like so. Uh, it's quite compact. But dubious 10 kilowatt hour capacity with an approximate 124 miles. Um, it's small and it's fairly aerodynamic up front. I'm betting that's on some generous cycle like the Chinese or European cycles. But here is a link to the article for you. Eventually, when the thing will mind my clicks. I'm not frozen, but it's not going. Push enter. Oh, I can push enter. Okay, whatever. Moving on. The next one from Robert William is I saw a bunch of chatter about the BYD seal, uh, saying things like, "Oh, America better watch out," and "This is how you do it," and blah blah blah. So the BYD seal apparently is no joke. Whether it actually is legal to sell in America, I don't know. I didn't look into it, but it is attractive. Look at this. That's a nice shape. No frog eyes, modern styling, no weird little unicorn hump. They did a good job on it. All right, so the price has been revealed, and deliveries have been delayed by 6 to 8 weeks. But we're looking at a starting price of 31,860. So that's right around what they told us they were aiming for. Look at that. It converts to roughly Australian 46,500, uh, which is not bad. And then Robert Williams showed us this. I heard some stuff about Canoe this week, but I did not catch any of it. I'm glad that Robert did. Walmart has committed to purchase 4,500 Canoe all-electric delivery vans, and I'm glad to see that Canoe is still kicking. Canoe and Arrival are two of my favorite quirky modular EV manufacturers, and I hope they make it. And getting a large order like this is one way to help push them forward. The Canoe is um, I wouldn't say it's exactly pretty, but it, I like what I saw from their pickup truck and their modular commercial platform. Like you can swap out, um, not like that other car where you could swap the backs out, but you could actually at the factory pick what modules you want to be on the rear, and that's what you get. Whereas the other one that we showed with the camper, you could actually change the camper back into the dump back if you wanted to, or the excuse me, extra seats or a double cab or whatever. Um, so let's see. Definitive agreement for 4,500 vehicles outlines an option to purchase up to 10,000 units in the future. Nice. And deliveries are expected to start with the company's lifestyle delivery vehicle or LDV. So this will help reduce the carbon footprint of your Walmart orders. And if you notice that a huge chunk of your Electrify America stations are in the parking lot of a Walmart, um, Walmart is an interesting company for me. They'll be used by Walmart associates to deliver online groceries and general merchandise orders. which could expand the company's Walmart Go Local program. Kind of a mixed bag for me. I do my best not to give this company any money, and I also want to see their green efforts succeed. Walmart makes it legit. I really like this little van, but was afraid it was just another vaporware project. You and me both, buddy. They get tired of waiting for Tesla Semi. They went with someone else. Soon Pepsi and all other companies will move away from Tesla and buy somewhere else too. I no. Uh, I think they're just making sure that their options are filled and well. Um, well, this guy's right. They're not going to replace a semi with a minivan. And I still contend that Tesla bought Pepsi's first vehicles, and Pepsi's going to get a better revision. Let's see what we got for comments. Let me refresh the browser here because I can't click on anything. I say that. Yeah, I can't click on anything. I'm gonna refresh this. It's gonna move us. All right, that did the trick. I can click on stuff now. Next, okay, I still have volume. I need to bring back our share page. Then I need to put it in the right space. There. That's one good thing about being in a web-based program is that you can just refresh or reload or whatever. You don't have to load up whole new programs, which means that in a computer, not really malfunction, but a computer not cooperating, it makes it a lot easier to get around. I picked up a beverage on the way to start the show and left it over there next to the restroom. I'll be right back. Yeah. Yeah, she was. So I kicked over my trash can because I forgot that these headphones are wired. Let me check my sugar real quick. These headphones have always been wired, so why would I think they're wireless? I have no idea. My sugar's good. Maybe I take a nap after this. So anyway, Eddie said reboot. And he also said they were into the cab overlook. I don't know where the link to that comment went. But yeah, it does look like they're into the cab overlook. Next up, we've got this other one from Robert William. It's coming from Motor Authority. And Silverado EV is coming with 664 horsepower and 400 miles of range. I mean, we touched on this, and they're sold out, and they're coming, and they're kind of cool. We'll see how the price holds up at 39,900 if it lives up to its specs, but it should be delivering soon. That 39 is obviously the work truck. They copied the Ford approach with that, so there's going to be some work trucks sold, but most of them are going to be the profit centers. Again with the not being able to click stuff. All right, so what I'll do is I'll just kind of leave this up, and then what I'll do after that is we will just open this in a new window if we have to. All right, so this one, whoa, don't open it in that window. I need that window. Maybe it restores my clickets. Oh, nope, still in the wrong window. What are you doing to me, computer? Stop picking that window. Come on. All right, so I'm going to copy this link, paste it down here. Oh, it's a public group. I could have shared it. But it's just another copy of the GM and Pilot article. Let's see where this one goes when I click on it. To the wrong window. My browser is toast. Paste it here. Not where I did. All right, so this is an article from Drive Tesla Canada. And here's how Tesla plans to allow other EVs to plug in at North American superchargers. It's being dubbed the Magic Dock. Oh, and this window is back. Look at that. Let's see. The difference is opening up the network in North America is that Tesla uses their proprietary connector and not CCS. Yep. Before Musk's announcement, Drive Tesla received exclusive information last year about a project Tesla's working on called Magic Dock, built-in adapter to do just that. Because we remember when they talked about bringing this to North America, Elon said they would either sell the adapters to the customers or have them at the stations. And he kind of joked about what happens if people steal them. And looks like this is a way to make sure that people don't steal them. So we've now information with a photo of the new Magic Dock that, according to the White House, Tesla will begin protection of later this year. Really? Um, in order to protect the identity of the source, we can't publish the photo, but here is a general idea of what it looks like and how it will work. Instead of the connector docking to the side of the supercharger, the new Magic Dock, aka CCS adapter, will attach to the top opening in the pedestal. When not in use, the connector will be docked and hang from the bottom of the adapter. The Magic Dock adapter appears to be roughly the same size as the CCS adapter currently available in South Korea. Oh, the fan kicked up. Solar must be doing well. Yeah. And when not in use, the connector will be docked and hang from the bottom of the adapter. The Magic Dock appears to be roughly the same size as the CCS adapter currently in South Korea, waiting to be released in North America, but of course, different in that it goes from Tesla to CCS as opposed to CCS to Tesla. This is true. So it looks like this is how it is today, where you just kind of put the plug in on the unit, and then with the Magic Dock, there will be some mechanism that will just kind of make it into a CCS plug, and then not when you have a Tesla. Owners will still be able to use Magic Dock supercharger stalls, however, as the adapter isn't permanently attached to the connector, it can be removed. Unfortunately, we don't know how Tesla plans to keep the adapter secure so no one walks away with it. We presume there'll be some kind of locking mechanism on the supercharger itself that will only release the adapter when a non-Tesla owner selects their stall through the Tesla mobile app. Yep. Uh, just like how the process currently works in Europe, but we don't have confirmation at this point. This particular design means Tesla won't be installing Magic Docks on their V4 superchargers as we see it above. Yeah, because you won't need them if it's not out yet. They can just have a CCS plug on it, like the V2 superchargers in Europe have a CCS plug and a Type 2 plug. As we shared with you yesterday, the V4 supercharger will look almost exactly like the semi-mega chargers, reminiscent of the 72 kilowatt urban superchargers without a center opening. Interesting. We'll open that article next. Copy link. If Tesla does plan to roll out the Magic Dock to their upcoming generation of superchargers, uh, they will have to come up with a new method to attach and secure the adapter to the pedestal. They built them. They'll have a way. Not like they bought them from somewhere else. And then here's what the CCS to Tesla adapter looks like. Tesla currently has the sleekest, easiest to use fast charger connectors. I hope they don't dumb it down with a clunky CCS connector. If anything, the EVs in North America with the latest popular connectors should adopt the Tesla standard, as Aptera said. Uh, Kudos to Tesla and SAE for agreeing to interoperate and find a solution. I don't think that's what happened here. I believe there is a great interim solution. Eventually, it would be best for Tesla to adopt CCS natively. Uh, that would be an option. And Tesla is on the board for CCS and CHAdeMO, so I don't think they needed permission to be able to use that which they already control. Or simply sell to these people who want to use them. I don't see EA adding a CCS to Tesla adapters at their locations. But there are several networks that have CHAdeMO to Tesla adapters at their stations. Ford should include the adapter with every truck. They do. They have a Tesla adapter on every Ford truck for some reason. Some sort of weird troll. Just please make both CCS to Tesla and Tesla to CCS open standard. That would be good. Then there'll be a lot of reasonably priced options available and no worries about locking the adapter. Further, after you'll still have to worry about locking the adapter because people will steal it just because people like to steal stuff. Further, after the aftermarket ones can come with a required extension length for your car. Yeah, because a lot of the cars have charge port locations that don't work for Tesla, or if they do, they block a lot of spaces. This doesn't seem to be the hardest problem to solve. All EVs have their charge ports in all different locations. Yes, and the Tesla cord will be too short. Case in point would be the Chevy Bolt, which has the port on the front left side. If the bolt noses into the charger, the cable, which is designed for the left rear of a Tesla, won't be able to reach the right front. Uh, you could probably make it work by blocking the adjacent parking space, but that won't make people happy on busy days. Exactly. It's already hard enough at Electrify America stations to find a stall that fits your particular car, and they have much longer cables and 2 cables per charger. Ultimately, chargers are going to have to be configured more like gas station pumps to accommodate the front, back, left, and right trailers and things like that. Yep. Electromagnets will unlock the adapter. Yes, that's what I was thinking as well. Electromagnets or solenoids. I wonder why CHAdeMO CCS Tesla adapters have to be so big and clunky. Because CHAdeMO and CCS are big and clunky connectors. So in order to safely convert that down to the slimmer, sleeker little dongle, it physically requires some space to do that. It seems logical. The adapter locks onto the plug. You activate CCS. The adapter will lock cable. Yeah, what I thought of. So obviously makes sense. Absolutely. So let's see what these people are talking about with V4 superchargers. What did I miss? It was on July 11th. I've known for quite a while Tesla's working on next generation supercharger. Yes, we did know that. One of the first real hints that the new chargers came from former executive Jerome Gillian. He used to be in charge of the semi program, and among other things, but that was what he was in charge of the last. During the company's Q3 2020 earnings call, he said they're working on 350 kilowatt or so supercharger. Because the V2 supercharger, sorry, the V3 supercharger caps out at 250. Let's see. Canadian supercharger sleuth, Marco RP Tesla, was able to uncover the dimensions of the V4 superchargers and then compare them to the size of the current V3 supercharger. According to his comparison, the V4 superchargers will be thinner, taller, and have a slightly smaller footprint than the current generation. For reference, a current supercharger is about 5 feet 5 inches tall. Yes, they are taller than my wife. What's up, Dan?
What's going on? It's been a minute, but I had some time.
There you go. All right, you got an echo too. So it looks like they're definitely going to be about the same size and profile as not size, but the same profile as the Mega Charger and the Orbit Charger. He was not able to obtain a design, but Drive Tesla has been able to obtain a photo of the new V4 supercharger. To protect the identity of the source, we can't publish the photo, but we can describe what it looks like. So it sounds like the person who's describing the locking mechanism and the V4 supercharger to them, sending them real pictures from the factory or something. The V4 supercharger will mega chargers. Okay, that makes sense. You might be thinking we received a photo of the mega charger, but the major difference is was not it's not only the connector, but also where the connector docks. Uh, yeah, that makes sense because on the mega charger, it's a much taller device. We believe this different position is mainly due to the size difference between the two units. Based on, yeah, that's what I said. Based on what we've been told, the mega charger stands a few inches shy of 7 feet tall, meaning the docks are likely similar heights off the ground. They appear different because the V4 pedestal is not as tall as the mega charger. So I want to be down here and one still echoing on your side. Zachary, thank you very much. I went back. I went to Black Church for the first time today. It was a wonderful experience. Now I'm coming to your sustainability electric vehicle church. Casey Green, thank you. Great work again. Yes. Oh. um, we don't know exactly when the first
I get the
V4.
reference too.
I do. I do. We don't know exactly when the first V4 superchargers will be built, but it will come after the V3 superchargers get a speed bump to 324 kilowatts. Based on the information received by Tesla enthusiast Sawyer Merritt earlier this year, that's supposed to happen in Q3, so anytime in the next 3 months. That is awesome. They should all look like the monolith in 2001, yes. I will bet that other Tesla owners share my opinion that there should be an improvement in supercharger, making the parking slots wider. That is going to be a requirement by the time that the
Semi.
no, the semi doesn't use the regular stalls. By the time that the Cybertruck comes online,
Oh
they will
yeah,
need to have
definitely.
nationwide have these things ready to go because um, somebody's got to take that thing and immediately try to go on a road trip, and if it's not ready, it will be a mess.
Well, that's the first thing. That's a walk-in advertisement
Yeah, but you
or
don't want your
drivable
first
advertisement.
right, but you don't want your first thing to be somebody complaining about how they didn't fit in half the stalls.
Very much so. Using the extension cord or at the end.
You'd have to make one first. Hmm. So Techno Hippie has Techno Hippie has a point. That may have been deliberate design choice to discourage charging from the second connector, unless it's unavoidable. Okay. V3 and later, not paired exactly. V4s are sharing. V3s are sharing. I mean, so my video. Oh, I see what happened. My keyboard's in the wrong window. Uh, and again, what the heck? It thinks I want to type in the window we're in. It doesn't think I want to type at all. All right, so I was going to school Eric about the fact that V3 superchargers are up to 4 slots. All share one cabinet, and each the split doesn't vary like it does on V2 and V1. You always get 250 kilowatts or whatever the station is configured for. 324 going forward, rather than it jumping back and forth. It's another one from Dan. I think we already did this one. And this one's from Omar coming up.
Yeah, Carmageddon. If that wasn't a head grabber, if I ever seen one.
tells me there's a conflict. And it says content not available yet. Interesting. Well, we'll just say that whatever is missing is not important. That's not exactly true, but that's what the computer wants me to think. I'll try one more thing. Let me quit the note program and then open it back up again. Then go to today's show. And then open up the conflicts. And then content not available. Okay, so yeah, whatever. So this one's coming from Omar, and it says Tesla accounts for half of China's electric vehicle exportations. Who could have seen that coming?
Of course.
And again, we saw last week that BYD sold a lot of new energy vehicles, but then we learned, for those of us that aren't as familiar with China as we could be, that new energy vehicles are hybrids, start-stops, plug-in hybrids, and electric cars. So
It was new
I
energy.
don't.
I didn't follow it once I posted it, or once I
Yeah.
saw it. It said EV, so they switched up. The
We,
media switched up the terminologies.
the media was got lazy. We had a whole discussion on it because Dawood was saying that he didn't think that it was showing what he thought it showed, and then I looked into it and it wasn't. Remember, Nikki
Yeah, I was
Nikki
running
and crew
amok.
Nikki
The
and crew
last
made a whole
4 weeks
video.
have been hectic.
Nikki and crew made a whole video on it, and we determined that it was another case of electrified strikes again, but in another language. So she felt that perhaps it wasn't malicious, but that they were just being not say lazy journalists, but pushed a little too hard. But I think that that's their job. So
True.
these kind of mistakes shouldn't happen like this, and then they shouldn't be copied. Like the next place should have, since you're not breaking it, you should now have more time to do a properly
But
researched article.
you
The
need
the
the clicks
breaking,
faster too. So, I mean,
yeah, you don't need the clicks that badly.
it,
It's
you
it's not about
think
clicks. If you're making news, you're making news. Uh, but you're right. That's exactly what they were thinking, and that's exactly what they did. But they
the
should not
faster
have.
I can get this back out there, and all I gotta do is put the little tagline on the bottom saying this article came from so and so. But you already clicked their article, so
Mhm.
I mean, that's all they have to do.
Yep. So Tesla Model Y and Model 3 from Gigafactory Shanghai accounts for half of Chinese vehicle exports during the first half of 2022, including with the shutdowns. That is incredible.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, every time we're on the conference calls, they call them their export hub. They don't say Giga Shanghai. They say the export China center. Blah blah blah. Very different ways of saying that. I mean, they do occasionally say Giga Shanghai, but usually they're talking about their export hub, their export center. And no wonder why. Half of all vehicles coming out of China were from Tesla. That's incredible. So that means if Tesla produced 100 vehicles, then 200 of them were then there were 200 cars from China, and half of them were from Tesla. That's incredible. Now, obviously, they did a lot more than 100 cars, but I like simple numbers in my examples. It took advantage of the production rate, turned Shanghai into an export hub. Yes. Um, the difficulties in Q2 for the lockdowns, but they have started to come around that. China refers to all non-gas powered vehicles as new energy vehicles, but electric cars account for most of these. Here are Tesla's historical exports from China. Nice. So 40,000, 33,000, 60, 22,000, and 968 for this year. Yes. Yes. I really appreciate you not yelling at me in your sleep, though. You
I'll
awake
say
now?
she had something to say too.
Demanded milk in her sleep. As her word for milk when she doesn't say milk or something that has the sounds for milk in it. Uh, One day she was feeding and she got my wife got up and left to go to the bathroom and she started shouting at me, "Kilk, kilk, kilk!" It's like, "Oh, milk, 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 milk!" And then I gave her some milk and she was happy.
Sounds about right.
I thought the first word would be like dad or mom or milk. Goodness gracious! Tell us what you really think, child. Did I read that right? 2022 was in green, right? Yeah, 2022 was in green. Let's see what the comments are on this. The word for that torturous title is exports. It's an exhortation to pray. It's not using exploitation. Why use a simple word when a more complex one is available? Are you having a bad dream? Yeah. Hi, baby. Good night. I hate the dreams that wake you up and then you gotta go back to sleep. It's like, she's doing that right now. Is exportation's a word? It is a word, but used incorrectly here. Headlines should read half of China's electric vehicle exports. Yes. Milk? Milk? She's like, you know my language. Give it to me.
You don't continue until I get what I want.
I don't listen to people yelling at me in their sleep. Do you want milk?
I want my milk and I want it now.
Think about it. Do you want milk? Oh, I see that smile. Okay, you can have some milk. Here. Oh, no, stop yelling. All right. Yeah, that's what I got. Eddie says, who does Giga China export to? So Giga Shanghai exports to Europe and Australia, New Zealand. They actually also import back to the States a little bit. There aren't too many Chinese Teslas rolling around the States. I think the last time we heard of them doing anything with a whole car was a handful of employee sales. She wants the same that I drink. Yeah, she might. Every time I give her a taste of my snack, like she'll let it sit on her tongue and she'll push it back out. She's like, I don't want that. Just get her used to flavors. That way, whenever she does start getting solid foods, she'll have a familiarity with some of them. Yeah. That's what we have. So we'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you very much. Thank you again to Zachary and all of our patrons and members. And hopefully I'll have some recorded videos up for you soon enough. But we'll see where that goes. Catch you otherwise. Same great time, same great place. Thank you for your time.